Unfortunately, procurement schemes that defraud the U.S. government are far too common.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
Sometimes the individual rigs the game for a contractor they or someone close to them is subsequently hired by, with a very lucrative compensation package attached. Other times it is a more direct monetary play where the government employee receives cash, assets, and/or gifts in exchange for running the scheme.
That's not stupidity, that's fraud.
Though much rarer, there are also incidents involving government employees being the subject of blackmail by the contractor or foreign government who wishes to direct the procurement process in one direction or another.
Now, Gary, we can do this the hard way or the easy way. Or the sort of hard with a touch of awkward, easy, difficult, challenging way.
From day one in government procurement, especially military-related, procurement professionals are warned against engaging in such schemes. Yet, unfortunately, not everyone listens. Hence the need for investigative bodies such as the Air Force's Office of Special Investigations and DOJ's Procurement Collusion Strike Force. The General Services Administration's Office of Inspector General is perhaps the most well-known of these investigative organizations, and that body does have a list of red flags indicative of bribery, kickbacks, and conflicts of interest involving government personnel in the field of procurement. Let's get started. 1. Government personnel discussing possible employment with a contractor or subcontractor for themselves or a family member. In all likelihood, financial institutions will not typically be aware of this one unless a comment is somehow made directly to you or you identify a post on social media. 2. Overly friendly relationships between government employees and contractors. A good example of how a financial investigations unit may come across this red flag is if you see that government employee and an individual affiliated with the contractor having joint ownership of an account or an outside business venture, such as seeing both parties as managing members of a separate LLC. Is it likely? No. Has it happened? Absolutely.
Hey, I've seen this one.
And again, social media connections are definitely of assistance in drawing a personal link between government procurement professionals and contractors. 3. Improperly disqualifying the bids or proposals of qualified contractors.
What?
We can move quickly past this one because unless that intel is relayed to a financial investigations unit via law enforcement communication or open source finding, you're likely not to ever know or suspect this at the onset. 4. Government personnel or their families acquiring stock or financial interest in a contractor or subcontractor. If dealing with a publicly traded company, those of you in the brokerage sector via trade surveillance may see atypical investment activity that raises concern. Many government contracts that are posted to the internet often contain the name of the contracting officer. If you see that your client is that officer and has engaged in atypical investment activity with the company linked to the contract award, that is something you may want to look into.
Let's be careful on it.
Press releases are another source of information. For privately held companies, incorporation records that outline ownership percentages can be of use here if that state's Secretary of State offers that information. 5. Unexplained increases of business with one contractor.
Next!
Again, a financial intelligence unit will likely not have direct insight to this occurring. You are most likely going to be dependent on external intelligence after the fact.
Next!
6. Employees living beyond their means. Here is where your FIU is going to shine.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Ted Clubberlang to the stand.
Yes! My turn.
I won't spend too much time on this one to keep dissemination of the information brief, but you already know what to look for in this regard. 7. Employment of family members by a contractor. Here is where data cross-referencing of family members and their employers can highlight issues of concern.
Of course!
8. Socializing outside of the work environment. Simple enough, and if you identify it, again, social media is likely to be where you make this connection if you are working inside of a financial institution's analysis and investigations team. And those are the 8 red flags of bribery, kickbacks, and conflicts of interest as outlined by the GSA's Office of Inspector General. fintelWatch, over and out.